With 6 games remaining, it's 13 unbeaten, and automatic promotion is still mathematically in our hands with 2 home games in a row to come. This is the Blue Monday podcast. Hello and welcome to the Blue Monday podcast discussing Ipswich Town up or down since 2015. I'm Richard Woodward and this is the live match reaction special following Cheltenham 1, Ipswich Town 1. Joining me to discuss it, joining me to maintain a spirit of, relaxed. We'll analyse, but we're not going to get crazy about this, are we, guys? Seb Brown, Dave Diamond, my Easter buddies. I feel like I've spoken to you guys seemingly every day.
Spent Easter with you. I'm surprised I haven't got an egg.
It's in the post. I had to give him to Connor Bennett on Suffolk, didn't I? I had to carry some favour. It kind of feels like I'm preempting. Perhaps we've all been eating chocolate for the last 48 hours, haven't we? And we've had a bit of a disappointment at the football, and maybe we're having a bit of a crash, like my 3.5-year-old niece who had a bit of a tantrum before she went home today. So I kind of feel like our role is to lift everyone ahead of going back to work tomorrow.
Was it a chocolate-induced tantrum?
I suspect so, Dave. There's all kinds of, it's like Cheltenham's goal today. There's avoidable moments there, definitely. But at the end of the day, someone's made a mistake. And
never let her loose with a whole egg. Never.
Exactly right. But how are you guys? Dave, we'll start with you. How are you doing?
Yeah, I'm all right. Thanks. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely all right. Quite a nice, fairly relaxing Easter, which was all good. Yeah, thanks.
Lovely stuff, Seb.
Yeah, same. Nice Easter, nice and relaxed, and I'm off the rest of this week quite nicely. So I'm
got that
forward to a bit of time off before next going back to work a week tomorrow.
And we have to say thank you for stepping in as well. Seb, Craig, a bit sleep deprived. If travel logistics, he'd have been he might have been a little bit more depressed and sad, possibly like my niece, to be fair, with a lack of sleep. So we'll say
it'd have been the Craig that when he doesn't quite make 30 points in Popmaster, that'd have been the ball.
You should see him.
Savage.
You should see what we've got, Fimbo. So Craig will be relaxed, putting his feet up. We'll definitely get him involved later on in the week. But we said we are live. We want to hear from you in the chat. Give us your views on Cheltenham. Give us your views on the run-in, what's going on elsewhere, because we'll talk about that as well. As teams around us still trying to find ways to chuck points away and keep it exciting too. But let's jump into the chat and see who we've got. Mark's with us. Bit disappointing result for Town, but still unbeaten. Move on to Saturday. Yep. Exactly right. That's the spirit we want. Nick, good to have you with us again. If I'd been offered 26 points 10 games ago, I'd have bitten your hand off like a bit of cream egg. Gary's with us. Evening, folks. What else have we got? I've got lots of Marks here tonight. Mark Long. One team are still due a wobble from the top 3. That'll hopefully open the door for us if we win 4+. Mark Rattles here. John B feeling a bit gutted. We're here to help, John. It's like therapy. We'll vent if you want.
Come on, John.
If you want to get it off your chest, John, make yourself feel better, and then we'll think about the weekend coming up. Zorak, though, feeling super deflated. Going to be a nervy 6 games. I might not be, Zorak. It might not be. Clark and Lee seem good at full time. Stevie's with us. David's with us. Luke's with us. James is with us. Jules, our mate Jules, is here. 25 points out of 27. And Plymouth. What's that saying?
19 stone.
Plymouth
19
lost.
stone.
Lost.
Plymouth have lost. Have been eating Easter eggs all weekend.
I know that Cosgrove was a big one, but not 19 stone.
They've all got on the big scales together, and it's like, and Schumacher's gone 19 stone. What's going on, lads?
There we go.
I'm just warming up for Cook. He's coming back at some point. Got a shout out, David Bergen, as always. Thank you for the super chat.
David,
continuing support. Gary as well. £10 super chat. You guys are being super generous as always. Thank you so much, everyone, for getting involved. And thank you for all the support for our shows over the Easter weekend as well. Really appreciate the comments. As we said, a thumbs up is really appreciated as well. So please do that. And if you haven't already, subscribed, because we will be keeping busy over the next few weeks and plenty, I'm sure, to talk about. So thank you for your support, everyone there. Chris, good to have you with us. No tantrums from anyone at the club, unsurprisingly, but then they're not 3 years old. Right. No, McKenna's not going to be kicking and screaming his way to the coach, I'm sure. Nick's with us, never going to win them all, but we didn't lose. And plenty of folks joining us. Dr. Zach King, our mate Westy, great to have you with us. Let's let's jump into it, shall we? I can't. I wish I could say it to everyone, but we'll have to talk about football. Let's talk about football, guys. And Seb, we talked about Cheltenham. I think it was on Saturday night, and it went out on Sunday, didn't it? It feels like a long time ago.
You lose track, don't you? The days just merge into one over this period of time.
You had not a sense of foreboding. You didn't have Dave Diamond's spidey senses in the Greyhound, but we know about Cheltenham's kind of hoodoo. We talked about the 1-1 draw at Portman Road, the statistical anomaly that game was. But there's something about going away to grounds like Cheltenham and their shag pile carpet that fills everyone a little bit with a sense of dread, isn't there?
Yeah, like we said, we both predicted wins, but I think we both agreed this was going to be a bit of a tricky one, given their home form was reasonable. It's not amazing, but it's not the easiest place in the world to go, and they've got a goal scorer. We kept saying that. A lot of sides down there, they can kind of create all they want, but they generally struggle to have somebody to put the ball in the back of the net. But with Alfie May, Cheltenham do have that player, and that's always going to be a risk, as we'll come on to regarding the game. I mean, yeah, we've been on this amazing run. So although it was a difficult place, I thought we were going to kind of go to. I did think we'd win, but we've got to keep the positives from the game. It's a horrible ground. I was there last year with the barrage of long throws and the late defeat. The fans are right on top of you. It's a tight, narrow pitch, and yeah, it's one of those kind of grounds that for me sums up League One and is a reason why we don't want to be going to these kind of places again next year. I've had enough of this and Accrington and Fleetwood and all the rest of them. Get rid of them all. Hopefully we haven't got to go there again.
Dismiss them all.
And windy as well, Dave, just to add into the mix.
Yeah, it made it all more horrible. Then I saw a tweet, I think post-match. Did you see the tweet of the goalmouth post-match where they basically
Phil from Telegram posted it? Yeah,
just filled in like a couple of lumps of turf right in the middle of the 6-yard box. If that wasn't a
it was Joe actually.
Was it recipe for disaster? I don't know. Yeah, it is tough because you're going to be the way they play. You're going to be sort of under the cosh from pretty much the high ball and quite direct. But as Seb quite rightly said, they have got a goal scorer who's did it last season. He's did it again this season. I think he's missed a reasonable amount of game time this season as well.
So only 33 appearances, I think. So
so perhaps he's played more than I thought. Actually, I thought he'd played even less than that. So yeah, it's always going to be a tricky one.
Not all starts though, Dave. But yeah, we warned about Alfie May. I mean, anyone who's looked at the goal scoring charts knew about Alfie May before today, anyway, didn't they? But a lot of folk talking about tantrums on Twitter and TWTD. Well, if people feel like they need to vent here, that's great. But I think we'll try and navigate our way through this with minimal tantrums, shall we?
I think we said the other night. Can you imagine if we'd had the recent run that Sheffield Wednesday?
Oh man.
Or if we'd lost 2-0 at home to Lincoln today,
well, there you go.
If it'd been the other way around, and we'd
exploded, absolutely exploded.
The grass isn't always greener. Sometimes it's a bit patchy. It needs to be filled in, doesn't it? But Jules is feeling positive. Thank you, Jules. We
Jules.
appreciate you. Thank you for the super chat. That's great. Dave, let's talk about Ipswich, because one change that we may have feared or expected, because he got a clattering in the last two matches.
He hobbled off. He hobbled off on Saturday. Didn't look too clever. He did play on a bit further, didn't he? But he did hobble off, and I think we all expected him not to be there. So it was no great surprise that he wasn't there today. And by all accounts, I don't think he even travelled. So we understand. I don't think so. He was obviously not even close. So perhaps with one eye on, one eye on next the 2-game week next Saturday and the following Tuesday. That. Probably quite wisely he was left out, even if we don't know if he's left out or not, but do you know what I mean? Obviously injured. So and Harness, on the face of it, I suppose a straight almost a like for like. I wouldn't say quite the quality as subsequently the game proved, but I didn't have a problem with that. I thought actually Harness, when he came on Saturday, looked quite sharp actually.
Yeah, we talked about similar, weren't we, Seb? Would you have gone with Harness over Edwards?
I think so, being an away game. Had it been at Portman Road, I probably would have liked to have seen Edwards get a start, because he's a bit of bringer of chaos. And I guess is he the most like Broadhead in the way he's direct and runs at people? Potentially, maybe he's the most like for like replacement. But then Harness probably brings you better energy and pressing from the front, I would suggest. So being an away game, and like Dave just said, we debated it on the pre-match show. We said, I have criticised him in the past. He tends to struggle to get up to the tempo and the pace of games when he comes off the bench. But against Wickham, I thought he came on and did really well. So no issues at all with him slotting in. And the rest of the team just picks itself at the moment, doesn't it?
It does. Well, we won't go through this blow by blow, but I think a fair I can put the stats up if we want. Well, I think it's worth picking out a few specific moments, though. But here's the overall chances for the game, which I think is fair from both halves, to be honest. Lion's share of the possession for Town, better chances, most shots, big chances overall, only one though. But I think that kind of tells the story. And in terms of the first half, guys, I think the first half obviously culminates with a substitution. Harness is withdrawn, Edwards comes on. We don't know whether there's an injury there, but I wouldn't be surprised if it's maybe tactical. But this moment on 19 minutes where Harness is kind of played in, maybe unexpectedly, to be fair to him. But Seb, should be getting a shot on target, shouldn't he?
Got to hit the target and got to score. Yeah, it's a little ball around the corner from Chaplin, isn't it, I think? And Harness kind of finds himself in the space. And I think pre the injury, he probably buries that because, you know, he was in decent form and he was scoring goals up until he was picked up that knock against Pompey in the Pizza Cup. But he just skews it wide of the post. And yeah, you kind of get the impression that, well, we've seen there how many shots we've had. We know from the Portman Road game how difficult this team is to score against. When you get a gilt-edged chance like that, you have to take it. And he just kind of gets it slightly wrong and fires it past the post. I've not seen a replay. The angle on iFollow wasn't the greatest. I'm not entirely sure how close it was, but you've got to hit the target in that position. I think if that falls to Chaplin on his left, boom, 1-0. Burns probably, 1-0. Anybody else, he's just, he's not quite had the same effect in front of goal since that injury. And it was a shame it fell to him, but you've got to take that chance. And if you go 1-0 up then, relatively early on, it's a completely different game, isn't it? Because they've then got to come out and try and, take the game to you.
He struggled a bit, didn't he, Harness, Dave? Didn't really...
I think so. It was a really good move because he engineered the 1-2, didn't he, with Chaplin? I think it was Chaplin actually back-heeled. It was a lovely move, and I just expected it when he sort of hit it across the keeper just to see it nestle nicely in the corner. But yeah, we haven't seen the view from behind the goal. No doubt someone would have. It was right in front of the Town fans, was it? So no doubt at some point we'll see a view on that from behind the goal. But yeah, he's got to score there. Yeah,
he has. Yeah, and the rest of the half, I mean, there's chances here. I just felt like you could tell that the pitch was really tight and congested, couldn't you? Because even the chances that fall for Cheltenham, there's this moment 23 where Ollie Inca goes on this kind of mazy run and no one dares stop him because he's kind of around the 18-yard box, and Alfie May has the kind of shot that rolls across, hits the post, I think, rolls across, and Davis pirouettes it away from goal. And even earlier than that, Hurst has got a diving header that's really close in and really tight. It felt really claustrophobic, didn't it, Dave? You can see why they keep a lot of clean sheets there. Fourth most in the league.
It did. It's very tight. And crikey, we saw that last year, didn't we? With the with the long throws, didn't we, last year? But it was it was a weird old first half because I mean, again, I think the wind played. So we were kicking against the wind first half. They had the wind. I mean, there's a lot of balls just from them just going straight down the pitch and straight out. But it wasn't a great spectacle. Let's face it. The wind ruined it. Any game where the wind's blowing straight down the pitch for that strength, it's not going to be a classic. And it wasn't. And yeah, there was a couple of scrambles. Maybe that was a sign of things to come. Perhaps a little bit of miscommunication in our box once or twice today, which was
one on 40 minutes. Wolfenden has to hoof it out of the ground, doesn't he?
Yeah, which hasn't been there of late, but certainly rode our luck with that one. That was incredible. I think was it Burgess or Davis? It seemed to I don't think it hit the post. He almost pirouetted on the line and came away with the ball, and it fell for him. He was able to get the sliding tackle. We actually got the goal kick from there. But yeah, there's one or two moments, and then there was a pretty good moment right at the end of the half from the Davis long throw, where again sort of Burns perhaps should have done better there. He's only about 8 yards out, and he's
close in, isn't he?
Struck it pretty well, didn't he? But straight to the keeper.
Yeah, there's a goal that's disallowed. I think at the time I thought it was called against Hurst incorrectly, but it looks like it's Davis who is
that was
running through from an offside position.
That was Luongo. That's a beautiful move. That had been a lovely goal. Yeah, it just went too early.
And we champagne moment, or the moment that everyone who's got an Ipswich Town sweepstake has been waiting for. Sam Morsey's first booking, guys, since the Cambridge away game.
Unbelievable.
And it was a good booking as well, wasn't it? Though we'll talk more about the referee, I'm sure, towards the end. But I think first half, Seb, which Town were the better team, although probably Cheltenham in terms of the more goalier moments, if that makes sense, because we wasted the chances that we had. Right, there's Harness going wide, there's Burns going straight to the keeper, and I know there's a moment for Hurst there that's offside, but it felt like that moment from May was probably the closest to a goal from either side. Is that fair?
I think so. Obviously, we missed the two gilt edge chances, score one of them, it's a different game. But like we said, when you've got a goal scorer in the side, you are always susceptible to that at the back. And that was probably the best chance of the half with the effort cleared off the line. I thought it was a bit of a kind of scrappy game. The wind didn't help at all. Let's be honest, we're not trying to make excuses here, but we couldn't get our natural flow kind of going. We had a few moments down the right-hand side, I thought, where we were kind of looking to make stuff happen. But overall, we just couldn't really, I don't think we couldn't get the space in behind, and Morsey and Luongo were trying to drive things from the middle, but everything kind of felt a bit pedestrian and a bit kind of meh. I don't know. The crowd didn't sound that loud either, the away end and stuff. So I don't know if there was a bit of trepidation, if the conditions made it a total leveler, in conjunction with the pitch. And yeah, although we created those two chances, but even at halftime, having created chances, I think Mikey put it in Telegram. He said, we've created two decent chances. If we do that again, we'll probably win the game. And I kind of thought, well, that's a great point. Even though we've not really got going, we've not played amazingly, we have missed, probably by our standards, two pretty relatively easy chances. So I kind of did figure we'd get more of a grip with the second half when the wind was in our favour, and we could look to try and make things happen.
Yeah, I'm just seeing the chat going as well, because there's obviously going to be two sides to this story, and your kind of perception of the game is going to skew depending on your personal preference on life, perhaps. But I kind of agree with you, Seb, that I kind of felt like it was a solid enough first half. We'd rode out the kind of a bit of a scary moment. There was also a chance for May right at the end when finally Southwood got a goal kick straight down the pitch rather than just kept
first time, wasn't it? Yeah.
He had a go there, and
there was a header as well from a corner, wasn't there, which Walton kind of pounced on relatively probably in the first 10-15 minutes. So they did have a couple,
Yeah, but I thought generally we were good, and you kind of felt with the wind behind us we were going to build on it. Let's see what the chat has to say. Simon's been supporting us as well from the super chat, and I believe Simon's been over as well. So thank you there for the $10 super chat for the end of the season, Chadwick's party. But hope you've enjoyed your time over, Simon, and thank you for your support of the podcast as well. Really appreciate that. In terms of other people's views, I think there's definitely some thoughts that chances should have been put away. Paul's Westlake, our mate Westy, harness off tactical for me, need to play it on the ground due to the wind. Edwards the better play for that. I wonder whether McKenna may have regretted, I guess the substitution suggests that maybe he did, and force that change. Neil, feel we need to win remaining home games and get at least 5 points out of the last 3 away. Probably feels about right, but there will be points dropped elsewhere, and we'll come to the rest of League One. That will hopefully give you a little bit more hope, Neil, than that. Anyone else? Here's Rob. Anyone else think the offside goal from Davis' cross in the first half was correct? Very tight. We didn't have a good view of Davis, did we, guys?
I presumed it was Hurst. Was it Davis? Was it? I didn't notice where the free kick was taken from. So I presumed it was Hurst.
I think, according to I follow, the flag went up before it got to Hurst. I think
it was a square pass, so he couldn't. Hurst wasn't ever going to be offside unless the linesman made a massive howler. But I think we believe it's for Davis. Jules, the chances we had, we should have been outside. Their goal shouldn't have mattered. Yep. Again, it was kind of similar chat to the previous, before our 8-game run, isn't it? Where if you don't get those 2 or 3 goal leads, you could be in a little bit of issues. Gary, I follow coverage appalling. So many replays when the ball had been released quickly. I agree with that. If it was the same editor of Pride Park, they would have missed both the Town's goals.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, exactly right. Lee not happy with harness. Woeful are his words. Edwards miles better, gave us energy. We'll talk about the start of the second half. I thought Edwards started strongly, but maybe faded a little bit. David W, right up my straw. So this one, #believe. We all need to do a little bit of Ted Lasso in our life. If there's one headline for today's show, it needs to be #believe. His Dr. Zach King. I feel like I owe it to him to use his full title. 100 points is still on. There you go. 98, and we do it 96. Who knows? Ridiculous league and a proper daft year for it. Exactly right. Lee, first off was poor, he says. We look nervy at the back. I think we can probably agree. A little bit of a few moments there. Maybe external variables, Lee, pitch conditions, perhaps tight pitch, etc. Some of our passing was poor, build up play too slow, shooting just awful. Your guys' thoughts on that? I mean, there's an element of truth in there, isn't it? Maybe I'm reading too much into the specifics of these words, but I kind of felt like we were the better team, and
we were.
Marginal moments probably could have gone better for us. Perhaps.
Yeah, we were the better team. I don't think our passing was quite up to up to what it usually is. But then I think, you do have to look at the outside conditions, and perhaps the pitch was a bit lively, and certainly the wind blowing down the pitch didn't help. So yeah, I thought the first half was, look, we should have been one, or if not, should have, as Mikey said in the Telegram half time, we should have been one, if not two up.
Yep. Rob, quite rightly, again, people are finding the things that bugged me, and I was watching it with my dad.
Definitely.
May throwing the ball
As
away.
soon as he slammed the ball down, that has to be a yellow. Yeah, ridiculous.
Absolutely nailed on.
I thought he had got a booking, so the fact he hasn't, because there was to Gary's point, I thought there was a replay, and we didn't therefore see the end of the conversation with the referee. But yeah, I think that's right, Rob. Totally agree with that one. Kirk, don't want to dig out how we need to find some positives on Harness, don't we? By me, it annoys me when players get a rare chance and don't go all out. I mean, that's to that one, Dave. It's a lot of pressure on Harness, isn't it? Suddenly he's got the moment, and Broadhead's been getting such plaudits, hasn't he?
Fine margins in it. He buries that one in the corner. He's had a great first half, hasn't he? It's fine margins. And look, I think he did make an impact. Okay, game was over probably Saturday when he came on. Probably, what was it, 3-0? But I thought he played really well when he came on Saturday. So yeah, I think you've got to give the lad. No one goes out to have a bad game.
No. And not a great game. If you want to come back into the team, you want to come back into the team at Portman Road, don't you?
Game.
Yeah.
Horrible game.
Right. Yeah.
Awful.
I'm not sure anyone really stood out. Maybe Massimo Lunga, but we'll talk about him in a minute.
As usual, probably.
We'll talk about him in a minute. I think Lee's confirmed that he did get a booking for that, but then didn't get one for abusing the linesman. Not sure what's gone in there, but ifs, buts, maybes, it's all happened now, isn't it? Yeah, Neil, we'll talk about. I was going to talk about Wade Elliott's comments. Their manager quite say they deserved it.
Don't know what he was drinking at post time.
He got a booking as well, didn't he? First half.
Yeah, that's got to be tongue in cheek, surely. That's got to be he's just lobbing that in there, isn't he? Surely.
Yeah. Tony Rand will score a late winner at Fleetwood to win the league, and Harness will score it. Tony, there you go. We've come full circle. Let's start talking about the second half, because I thought the introduction of Edwards gave us a lot more urgency. The fact that the wind was behind us as well helped. And there's a couple of moments on about 60 minutes, guys. Edwards dashing forward, isn't it? The first one, he lays the ball off to Hurst. The second one, he has a go himself. Do you want to talk about the first one, Seb, with Hurst?
Yeah, great hit, wasn't it? So, Edwards is kind of, when he came on, he started to run at them and drive at them, just like Broadhead does, which I think we've kind of seen in our game now for the last 8 weeks or so. So, yeah, he gets it to Hurst, and it's a great hit, isn't it? And he's so unlucky just to hit the bar. The technique's brilliant. He's kind of cutting inside from the edge of the area. Absolute thunder bastard. And really, really unlucky. And also unlucky the way it kind of falls. That could have gone anywhere and could have fallen to one of our players, but unfortunately. But you got the impression things were starting to turn. Since half time, we were more direct. We were creating more. The fullbacks, I thought, were kind of getting beyond their man a little bit better, and you just kind of got the impression things were our greater fitness, now greater quality was starting to show. But Hurst was so unlucky, and it just shows the confidence he's got at the moment to try that, because he's on this great run of, is it 4 in 4, wasn't it? And to have the confidence to try that kind of thing, he's so unlucky with that. Great technique and a great hit, and really, really unlucky.
Edwards was so good in that build-up. He just dropped. He's got that ability. Edwards. He drops his shoulder, and he's got that ability. He's very, very quick over the first 5 yards. He's got a bit from a standing start to actually go and just leave defenders for dead. And good awareness. And Seb's right. So unlucky, that brilliant effort.
And
Did you not think it reminded me a bit of Cambridge? Edwards was really good for the first kind of 10, 15 minutes of the half, but very much like Cambridge away when I think he won the penalty, didn't he? We kind of stopped finding him, I thought, for the rest of the half, and it's a really
absolutely. If you look towards we're getting ahead of ourselves. If you look towards the end of the game, just how much Jackson had the ball wide when Burns went off, how much Jackson had the ball wide right, and I was watching the game. I said, get the ball wide, get the ball to Edwards left, but I don't think it was a case of him drifting out of the game at all. Just the ball just wasn't there.
Yeah.
Maybe some of the Cheltenham subs were brought in to
be fair,
for them perhaps. But I noticed the same thing, guys. And there is a moment 2 minutes later, Dave, where Edwards has got behind
again,
because once he's ahead of his he can't.
He's got
no tackles, is it? It's a foul.
He's absolutely gone. And this was unlucky as well.
Harness should do better with a shot now.
Well, he's a bit further out, isn't he? To be fair, he's a little bit further out, and I think he tries, from memory, to use the defender as perhaps as a shield in front of him to sort of curl it. And again, all we've got is the eye follow. We haven't seen it from behind the goal. We haven't seen it from face on. So again, that looked, by their reaction, that looked pretty close as well. But we were well in the ascendancy then, weren't we?
Yeah. Yep. Mike 316 evening from Lincolnshire, up the Owls. Great to have a Sheffield Wednesday fan with us. Give us your thoughts. Have you turned it around? This is a group therapy for teams who can't win at Cheltenham and can't beat and lose to Lincoln at home, Mike. So we're keen to get your views, and I'm sure our Plymouth colleagues will join us as well. But good to have fellow supporters from other clubs here as well, and interesting turnaround today for Sheffield Wednesday, although Accrington a little bit dysfunctional perhaps, but good to see a dinner and making a contribution finally. But yeah, it's interesting stuff, isn't it? We'll talk about Plymouth shortly. But Seb, the momentum had been ramping up, hadn't it, with those two efforts? And we haven't talked about Harry Clark's long throw threat for a while. The wind is there. Perfect storm.
The irony after last season conceding 2 goals, one directly and one in sort of second phase from long throws, we get ourselves the opener with it. And Clark absolutely hoons it in, and it just falls nicely for Chaplin. The one person you want it to fall to just rolls the ball home. And when you're kind of struggling to create from your normal patterns of play, sometimes you need that, don't you? We spoke about it. Was it the first goal against Shrewsbury? You're struggling to create things, a set piece. Leif Davis whips it in, Hurst scores. This time Harry Clark whips it in, chucks it in the mixer, so to speak, and it falls to the man you want it to fall to, rolls the ball home. So a great time to score, because the things since half time it had started to turn, and you kind of were building confidence, and I kind of thought we've got that one. Hopefully we'll get a second fairly quickly to kind of kill the game off. And Chaplin moves on to 19 league goals for the season, 22 or 23 in total, continues his great run of form, and suddenly everything's rosy in the world again.
And an interesting celebration, guys. Do we think there might be news on Twitter at some point?
Presumably, that's what it would suggest. A new arrival in the Chaplin household. Hopefully, he can celebrate that and a promotion in the next month or so.
Or maybe he was taking the piss out of Plymouth, putting on 19 stone, having eaten Easter eggs all weekend.
Probably that's what it was.
It's a tidy finish, though, isn't it, Dave? That
it is a good finish. Can I just say I did post that in the Telegram group at half time. I don't know if anyone noticed that, but I did.
Oh, you did? Yeah, you did.
I did say that Clark's throw second half could be a weapon. So I'll take that one. But I mean, look, that's who you want. That's who you want to finish. Those instinctive finish, wasn't it? Right in the corner, static keeper, and happy days. And like I said, we're well on top in the ascendancy at that stage. So you think, yep, let's go and get a second.
Yep, which didn't really come, guys. And I'm going to put this out there. We bemoaned the momentum sapping that making lots of substitutions happen. Oh, words. It's been a long weekend. I've been on about 5 podcasts, guys. We talked about how the subs maybe in previous weeks when we weren't winning maybe kind of killed a bit of our momentum. I kind of felt like on 72 minutes, Jackson and Ladapo for Burns and Hurst kind of the game kind of peters out a little bit for me. I wonder whether we need to keep Hurst on for a bit longer, maybe, given he's in such form. I know it's harsh on Ladapo, but I kind of feel like that combined with Edwards kind of disappearing out of the game, just felt like we kind of lost a hold of it. Am I being too harsh, critical? Any thoughts on that? Who wants to take that one?
I don't think so. I think Hurst was, again, I thought today superb, wasn't he? Leading the line really well, was strong throughout, and surely now he's got the, he's certainly up to full match fitness, and he's got the lungs and the fitness to play 90 minutes. So I was a bit surprised about that.
And then Seb,
not Burns, because I don't think Burns was that.
He wasn't quite at it, was he?
No, not Burns, but I think maybe I'd have made the Burns switch, but I don't think I'd have made the Hurst switch then. No. Just saw a comment actually, and it's dead right. For our first goal, definite foul throw. Foul throw for the first goal. Ironically.
And he had his leg up for the next one, didn't he?
Oh yeah, ironically, it was called the next one, but the first one was a definite one.
And Donatien had a really dodgy one as well.
Yeah, right at the end. Yeah. Well, he often does those, Donatien. He quite often has dodgy throws.
This one surprised me, given that I'm a very pernickety person, but foul throws is a real pain in the eye. I hate when foul throws aren't given, so I'd much prefer it to be the opposition. But I kind of like the referees just called it. But anyway, we can't put this off any longer. Do you want me to talk you through it rather than you guys? And you can tell me which of these moments we should have avoided, because there's lots of, as always with goals, the runs over, we kind of thought, well, a clean sheet run is going to end inevitably at some point. Ideally you get the win today, and if you concede a goal, it's kind of one of those once in a kind of 10, 20, 30 year kind of run, maybe, I don't know. But there's so much wrong with this situation, starting with Broom, who's not under any pressure from any of our forwards. With the wind, for some reason, dies at that moment because the wind was in his face, but he manages to, from within his own half, get it right onto the edge of the 18-yard box. And it's one of these kind of car crash moments you can see where Walton's dashing off his line. I don't think he needs to do that. So that's number 2 if it's not Broom in the wind. Wolfenden's backpedaling, so he's got no clue. I don't know who's shouting at who, but yeah, who knows? We've got Keener is involved as well. He's come on as a sub. They all collide. The ball falls to Wolfenden under minimal pressure from my perspective, and his header is just to the edge of the box. And we need to give credit for this, don't we? Really nice takedown from May and very quick finish to slam it home on the volley, and probably a goal that they don't really deserve. But because we hadn't really seen the game out, we hadn't got our second or third, this is likely to happen. But there's no one on the line. I think that's something that could have been sorted out as well. And Clark is kind of watching on. Luongo's watching on. Who are you going to blame for this one, guys? I know I said we were going to start this show positivity, but I want you to blame someone. No, I don't.
Do you know,
give us your thoughts.
Yeah, it's Walton, isn't it? He shouldn't be there. He just shouldn't be there.
Yeah, shouldn't do it.
You know, he's on the edge. He's just standing on the edge of the 6-yard box. It's not gone behind. It's not gone behind. It stands on the edge of your 6-yard box. We've been winning everything in the air on the edge of our box, pretty much. It's just bad communication all around, really. And even when the ball breaks, and as you said, you know what, Wolfenden's caught off balance, so and he sort of like heads it out and sideways to me. Who is it's a brilliant finish. It's a great first touch. He's still got a lot to do there. It's a very good finish. But there's no communication. So I still think Burgess could perhaps even get round behind Wolfenden. Probably Clark could even get round as well. So yeah, it's a combination of errors. But yeah, that's down to Walton. He shouldn't be there.
Seb?
No need.
It's Walton's mistake. If he's going to come that far, he has to, take them out and claim the ball, take out both the centre half and the centre forward, claim the ball, and clutch it to his chest, and it's a job done. But he shouldn't be doing it in the first place. And then Wolfenden can't really get much power on the header. He kind of falls backwards, doesn't he, as he heads it to. And then we've had a bit of luck, let's be honest, on this clean sheet run with the penalty save at Bolton, the disallowed goal at Derby. I guess our luck was out by the fact it falls to Alfie May. Anybody else, and they don't take that touch, and they probably don't rifle it home like he does. It's the one player on their side that could do that. So we have to kind of accept that. And yeah, the clean sheet run is now over. And then you were kind of looking after that. What was that? That was 10 minutes to go, 8 minutes to go or something?
Yeah,
you're kind of thinking then, right, well, let's see if we can get ourselves back into it. But given how it all kind of petered out when the subs were made, like you just said, and after we couldn't get that crucial second goal, then yeah, you kind of felt maybe the good run was over. There was one thing I wanted to mention quickly as well before the goal. Chaplin had an effort that kind of fell onto the roof of the net from quite close in from sort of the same, not quite as close as where he scored his goal, but that looked a very, very similar chance. And again, if you add that, the Harness one, the Edwards one, Hurst hitting the bar, if you've kind of missed chances throughout the 90 minutes, then you can't really complain too much if you do concede late on. You've kind of, it's your responsibility to put the game to bed with those chances that you've taken earlier in the game.
Yeah, good thoughts. The chat have been giving us their views as well. Zorak here, Walton in the defence didn't look like they were talking at all.
Yeah,
not
and
a
he rushed
day.
out. Didn't he? Was it 2 minutes later, 3 minutes later?
Yeah, doesn't get the ball
out and Burgess has to sort it out on the touchline. So yeah, I don't know if they just weren't communicating, if they couldn't hear. I don't know, but that was a real rush of blood again a few minutes later.
Yeah, agreed. I think Neil sums it up neatly. Walton's been so good.
Oh yeah,
I'm sure we can forgive him one. Yeah, and Chris Rands always knew we'd finally concede through a mistake or the conditions. In the end, it was both, but I don't really blame Walton. Interesting. Chris doesn't really overall. Chris,
blame Walton. Yeah, he was let's say he was mostly at
culpable.
Fault. Culpable is a great word, but that was the only way they were going to score, would be from a set player throw or something like that. They weren't going to play through us. They were never going to play through us, were they? So look, gutted that. I think it's just a bit galling, just the manner of the goal, which was, as we said, is just so easily preventable. But there you go.
Interesting thing from Kev. Kev's kind of relieved we conceded. Presumably, so we've got don't have the burden of
fair play.
The record continuing. Perhaps everything about Cheltenham makes me feel sick. The weather makes me feel even worse. Move on home to Charlton. Rob Holmes, after what missed it, do you think Burgess could have shouted at Wolfie to leave it?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, agree with that. Poor Westlake may finish not different from us last week. Stayed calm.
Very
finish.
similar. Great. Yeah, absolutely
Yeah.
good point. Very similar.
Yeah.
Although obviously Hurst was first time swivel and shot. He took a touch, didn't he? But yeah,
I
absolutely.
won't lie to you. The fact that the sentence started with May really threw me off there. I completely forgot that it's Alfie May. And anyway, moving on from the culpability of the host to being crap. Gary thought Wolfenden was really solid until he headed the ball to May, but agree it was Walton's fault. Michael, good day to Michael. I prefer my goal for keeper to come out and collect the ball rather than stay on the line like Bart used to do.
Not there though.
It was a bit far out. Yeah, it was too far out, wasn't it?
There. Yeah, I totally agree, Michael. Absolutely spot on right, but no, not in that situation.
Can someone enlighten me on the Dapo shot? I might have been rugby tackling a Nice at that point.
Yeah, he did. Sort of went through a defender's legs, sort of bit of power straight at the keeper though, wasn't it? Remember that one?
No.
Low.
Yeah,
he did.
That.
Quite low, had an half decent position. Sort of. I think the keeper was unsighted, but yeah, bit of power in a bit straight at the keeper.
James, a few times there were crossed wires between the back five. Yeah, definitely agree with that. Unusual after being on autopilot last 7 or 8 games. I think it kind of sums up. It's a really great point from James. I think it kind of sums up this kind of whole thing around Cheltenham. These are the kind of places that no one likes to go to, and probably us more than anyone else, seemingly, because I think Plymouth and Barnsley have won there. We know about Sheffield Wednesday recently. It's just when it's not a nice kind of convenient setting, maybe we struggle mentally, guys. Is that fair? Harsh thoughts, Seb?
Well, it's one of these games that we've seen so many times since we've come down to League One. I mean, if we had, was it 23 shots we had against them today, and we had 31 in the home game, and we've scored 2 goals, one from a corner at Portman Road from Wolfen, and one from a long throw today. So, it's fair to say it's not exactly the kind of side that we can, we create tons of decent quality chances against. It's one of those horrible tight little grounds. It's a bit like we saw when we used to Accrington every year and would lose 2-0 and Colby Bishop would bully us a little bit. It's the kind of thing that traditionally as Ipswich Town we don't tend to deal with overly well. We've been on an amazing run of form. If you'd have offered us 25 points from the last 27 available, of course we all would have snapped people's hands off. We've gained a point on Plymouth. Wednesday had a textbook win, as we've kind of expected them to. So yeah, and the good thing is we won't have to go to this kind of Fleetwood maybe on the last day, but apart from that, the kind of sides that we've got in the away games coming up now are going to be the likes of Peterborough and Barnsley, who are going to have to take the game to us a little bit, and that holds no kind of fear for me. The ones where we play teams that like to sit deep and frustrate us, and tight pitch, crappy surface, weather conditions today, that's when we tend to struggle. And touch wood, I can't think of any other times we might have to go through that this season.
Dave, agree?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, no, like we said, it's never an easy place to go, and the couple with the conditions today just made it doubly difficult, didn't it? Really. However, we had more than enough to won the game. So performance wise and chance creation wise, was Seb quite rightly said, 23 shots, 9 on target. You'd think you'd do enough to win the game with those stats, wouldn't you?
Yeah, the 92 vlogs. Thank you for joining us. Was at the game today as a Cheltenham fan. Thought you were very unlucky. Clearly, the better side with decent players, obviously, but unfortunately fell short today. Keep going, lads.
Play,
thank you for that. Appreciate that. And if I'm a Cheltenham fan, and it's like a fortress there, isn't it? I'm sure if the shoe was on the other foot, you'd love teams like Ipswich and Sheffield Wednesday and toiling to draws or even defeats. I'm sure you'd enjoy it, wouldn't you? So we can't begrudge them. We can't begrudge them that. And overall, guys, in taking the game as a whole, are you satisfied with the point, or are you thinking we've got to win them all? Dave, I'll start with you.
Well, you're not really, because it's the manner of it, and it was we thought we'd got over it, but so many games earlier in the season, just after Christmas as well. You're 1 up in some of these games, you're 2 up. Some of these games you're 4-2 up, and conceded late goals. You think you've got over that. So it's just the manner and the sort of the horrible scruffy goal, easily preventable goal that they scored, which irks. But look, looking at the bigger picture, 25 points out of 27. Like I said, I think we said in the green room beforehand, sort of thing. I had us in this 10 or 10 game run. I certainly had us winning today, but for instance, drawing at Derby. So flip that 4 points. So yeah, take it and move on to Saturday.
Do you agree, Seb, that the nature of the goal is what kind of irks the most really about this one?
It's frustrating because we've done it to ourselves, haven't we? That's the annoying thing. If Walton stays back, there's probably no threat from that, and we probably hopefully see out a 1-0 win, and it's done. It's self-inflicted, which is always the worst kind of worst kind of defeat, worst kind of goals conceded. But importantly, we've now got these 2 back-to-back home games. Both Plymouth and Wednesday have back-to-back away games, and it's all still in our hands, isn't it? Let's be honest. I know today is frustrating, but it's all in our hands. It's all to play for. 6 to go, and there probably will be a couple more twists and turns as we go throughout the remaining fixtures. It's a bit of an old cliche, but who knows? That point today, we might get promoted by a point, in which case, it's fine.
It might be goal difference.
And 4 points over Easter, 2 points per game.
That's a biggie. Goal difference could well come into. That's such a big plus. Excuse the pun. Big plus for us at the moment.
And we've got some thoughts coming up on the chat as well. So give us your thoughts. Any questions for the guys as well? Stick a queue at the start, but we'll try and skim through as many as we can.
Just quickly. Last knock into the game, we're 1-0 up. Ref gives a penalty or not?
In real time, I thought it might be a penalty. I've not seen a replay of it, so
just
I don't know.
One, an injury time.
Yeah.
Okay, it's 1-1 yeah.
In real time,
what I'm saying is no, but so flip it around. So we're 1-0 up.
Yeah,
we're 1-0 up maybe. Perhaps the ref is a little bit more inclined.
We need your old. What was your old sliding scale that you and Ben used to have back in the day? Was it Stonewall, seen them given? I think the class is seen them given. I think I put it in that.
Yeah, not Stonewall
category.
No, it's between. It's seen them given and soft for me.
Soft. Yeah,
I haven't seen a replay in real time. I thought it was seen them given.
No, I'm not having that. One final question from me. I haven't seen this mentioned anywhere else. Very quickly from both of you, is this a case of no broadhead, no cutting edge, possibly?
Yeah, we certainly didn't have that impact in the first half. I mean, it's a difficult one, isn't it? He's on the end of that chance that Harness puts wide. He probably plants it in the far corner. He's so confident, isn't he, at the moment? So, yeah, he was a miss. There's no getting away from it. He was a miss today, and Harness is a downgrade on broadhead. Look, let's hope it's not too serious, and he's at least in and around. Well, if not back Saturday, back for next Tuesday, perhaps. We'll see.
Yeah, Seb.
Yeah, totally agree. He's become so integral to the way we've played for the last 8 weeks or so. We saw the amazing counter-attacking goal at Derby as a direct of his direct running, and some of the stuff he does with the ball at his feet is superb. And yeah, we really missed him today. Hopefully, like Dave said, he's back for the weekend. If not, Port Vale.
Well, what was it? Did he like roll his ankle? Is that what they're saying?
I think so. He got that.
Ankle sprain or something like that. Not his Achilles. So yeah,
Get him down to Brightling Sea, get him in the ocean, and get him ready.
Get him down to Felixstowe,
exactly. Yeah, exactly right. Matt Holland knows all about that, doesn't he?
Yeah.
What's we got in the chat? Ipswich Town old boy. It all comes down to our response on Saturday, of course. Yeah, certainly agree with that. The context is king, as we always say, isn't this one? And we go and win the next 2, then
we've got to win the home games, haven't we? We've got to exactly go and win them all. And those 3 have to be 9 points if we're realistic about the top 2.
Lee talking about Cheltenham next. Could be a sticky game. They've improved recently. I believe Bond got injured today.
He
scored again, didn't he? Yeah, he scored again.
He got injured, did he? Oh, that's okay.
I've not got that confirmed anywhere. But yeah, Charlton very hit and miss away from home. Lost the last one out to Bristol Rovers, but beat Cambridge, beat Morecambe. I think they beat the teams you'd expect them to beat.
Yeah,
they lost to Derby, drew with Peterborough.
They stuffed someone 6-0 the other week.
Shrewsbury,
at home,
at home. Valley.
Oh yeah, no, at home, No, I'd have thought we'd have had. Hopefully, we'll have enough. A result like we had last game of the season last season would be
good, wouldn't it?
Saturday.
Yeah, sunny day.
I'll take that.
Ipswich Town old boy again. Speaking my language, they've been lost no ground overall. I guess we'll obviously Wednesday getting the win, but I take the point. It's kind of all very congested there, isn't it?
Still in our hands is
still in our hands.
That's the crucial thing, isn't it? Yeah,
still in our hands.
The crucial thing.
Yeah.
Paul confirming to the 92 blogs, our Cheltenham colleague, who said, seemed to be a bit of a bogey team to Ipswich. Yeah, Paul Westlake rightly confirming that you're not the only one. Cheltenham are not the only ones, as we know to our cost there. Lincoln certainly a little bit of one, aren't we? Simon, in the context of the run, the result is disappointing in isolation. Probably not a terrible result to get, especially when considering gaining a point on Plymouth. Kind of chimes with my sense, I think, on this one.
Yeah.
Neil, Plymouth away next 2 games, and don't feel Wednesday will have it easy at Burton. Yeah. Chris ran the 38 the 538 website, which does some amazing modeling. Catwalk modeling, is that? No, it doesn't. I know exactly what this is about. Reckons all 3 teams will finish on 94 points.
Four more wins then.
There you go. As I said, we'll win on goal difference. I can't
imagine the stress of that if that's how it's all going to play out. That last day, it would be that'll be horrible. Will be horrible.
We've got some questions coming in. So what I might just very briefly do is put the scores up in case folk look away now if you don't want to know the scores. I haven't said that ever, so I feel like now is the time to do that. What can I do to remove that comment very quickly? There we go. Barnsley winning at Shrewsbury. A red card for Nicky Cadden might be helpful. Straight red, I think that was. Cambridge coming back. Late draw at Bolton.
Great point for them.
Talks about Macaulay Bonne and Charlton. Good at home. A little bit of resurgence, maybe a little bit inconsistent away. Derby can't really seem to get back into gear. MK definitely keeping themselves away from, or trying to get away from trouble. Decent away point for them. Peterborough doing the business. Exeter, who we thought might have a bit of a role.
They're in some form, Peterborough, aren't they? They're in some real form.
Yeah.
Did I see that Raheem the Dream scored?
Yes.
I think I saw that mentioned on Telegram. Yeah. Plymouth Lincoln, though, guys. And not a happy home life for once at Plymouth. We know that they're hugely dominant there, but yeah, a bit of a shock.
I mean, somebody in the Telegram group said they were boos at full time, which, yeah, for a side with their record, okay, fair enough, they didn't turn up at Wembley last week, but their home record this season, they're up there with us on Wednesday, and they probably wouldn't expect to be. That seems incredibly harsh if they've had, boos coming off the pitch. But hopefully, this is the start of their. We know what a pain Lincoln can be, and Lincoln's record against the top 3 is pretty phenomenal.
We know about that, don't we? It's booze of frustration, isn't it? We know.
Yeah, maybe, but hopefully this now sets them off on a little bit of a wobble, because they've got Exeter, which is a derby for them, and they'll be well up for that one. And then they've got Shrewsbury, which the last couple of games wasn't an easy place to go, but maybe Exeter's the one where we can hopefully do us a bit of a favour, and Raheem the Dream can keep his goal scoring.
Can you imagine?
Prowess.
Agent Raheem. Worth noting, 64% possession for Plymouth. No surprises, but XG wise, and you guys know I love a bit of XG, 0.78 for Plymouth, 1.46 for Lincoln. Total shots 17 to Lincoln, 14 to Plymouth. Big chances 2-0. Big chances missed 1-0 to Lincoln. So the idea that was kind of, I guess it was maybe a smash and grab, but in terms of output, attacking
you haven't got Ballymumba and Whittaker smashing him in from 20 yards in the 90 minutes.
Mumba's gone back to Norwich.
He's out for the season, isn't he? Yeah.
He did I see in the first half also they had one chalked off as well. Lincoln. I thought I was following that on Telegram.
Yeah, someone posted preemptively that it had gone to 2-0 and got everyone excited. And then it actually went to 2-0, so we could all actually get legitimately excited. So, it's going to be like that from the match day chat on Telegram. Do get involved. If you want some drama, goals going in other grounds is the place to be, our Telegram match chat. All the links you need for Telegram and our pods and stuff. Blue Monday, itfc.co.uk to join in there. We've got, I'm wary that we've blitzed through all of this kind of stuff. I've not finished the results from the rest of Monday yet, but I think we've kind of covered the main ones there. I think Sheffield Wednesday 3-0 back to business there against Accrington. No surprises. Wickham bouncing back to Forest Green helpfully as well for them. But maybe put the league table up just to if that gives anyone some reassurance, but I guess maybe not, given we're down to 3rd. But as we said, mathematically in our hands, win the game in hand on Sheffield Wednesday, and it's in our hands, isn't it? So there you go.
I think the goal difference does give you a little bit of not insurance, but reassurance as well. That's I
mean, 21
I know it's the cliche, the old cliche worth a point. What is interesting there, though, I can see. Well, I think either one of Derby or Bolton will miss out there.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. That's good. Yeah, it doesn't make both well for League One next season, does it? With maybe some tough teams coming down.
Yeah.
In terms of bits and pieces, we'll get to the questions. There's some great ones coming in, so thank you, everyone. Keep them coming. Stick a queue at the start. We'll make sure Seb and Dave answer as many as we can. Normal service resumes. We'll be probably doing a Wednesday midweek, I think. Craig, and Joe have made themselves available for that. We'll be doing a pre-match show. We'll be out Friday morning, and Flagship looking back on Charlton, Ipswich Charlton, 8 p.m. next Sunday live. Get involved in the chat. The season keeps on going. We've got 6 games left. It feels busier than at any other point in the season, but it definitely isn't. It's drama, isn't it? So stick with us here on Blue Monday. Don't forget to like, don't forget to subscribe. All of our content landing in your subscription feed or your podcast feed. And hopefully plenty of positivity to talk about for the rest of the season as well. Let's go to the questions, shall we? Neil Perks, what do you think are the toughest remaining games? He's going for Peterborough. One each from you guys, Seb?
Agree. Yeah, when we did our Blue Monday predictions a few weeks ago, that was the loss that I thought would happen because our record at London Road is pretty crap and they've got goals throughout the team. So, yeah, I think that's going to be a really tricky one. Barnsley doesn't fill with as much dread, but that's, probably equally as tricky. But Peterborough's the one for me.
Dave?
Yeah, yeah, agree with that. Yeah.
Yep. Nice and easy there. Rob's given us a positive. No team have got away from us over Easter, level with points with Wednesday and gained a point at Plymouth and Barnsley. There you go, Rob. Thank you. Bless you for finding the positivity. That's what we want. Lee, both Wednesday and Plymouth got tough away games coming up in the next 2. If we win both ours and still have a game in hand on Wednesday, I think there's like a dot. And EastEnders, doom. Neil, question: win the league home to Exeter Chaps? Go on, Dave. Take that one.
Well, how good would that be?
Yes, please.
Good would that be? Yeah. Do you know what? Have we ever done that? Well, we did. I mean, obviously, when we won the league, but obviously, when we won the top division back in 61, 62, that was certainly at home. But previously, 91, 92, that was away at Oxford, wasn't it? Then we had the game the nothing game, a brilliant home game against Brighton, didn't we? So, promotions that we have had, have been sort of a bit mixed, but that would be fantastic, wouldn't it? But that's the penultimate game, isn't it? So there'd have to be we'd have had to have an extremely nice run of probably 5 wins. 5 wins, I think would get it done. Actually, that would set it up. No, it'd be 4 wins. Sorry, 4 wins, and that could well be the game. But crikey, those 4 wins would have meant we'd have won at Barnsley and won at. I don't even want to think about it. I don't want to think about that. But how good would that be, though? Bloody hellfire!
Very good. Well, that's a home game, and maybe it's done on the road. Seb, Neil wants to know how many points do we think we'll get from the 3 away games we've got left.
I think Fleetwood will depend on what's riding on it, but you'd have to fancy us there. We'd have to go there and then put in performance. And the other 2, I've said, I think Peter was the tricky one. Barnsley, I'm not as concerned about Barnsley. When I watched them play against Wednesday, there was a lot of space in behind their 2 fullbacks they like to bomb on. So you like to think that Davis and Burns could really cause problems there. So I'll be optimistic and go for 6 points. I think wins at Barnsley and Fleetwood, but a defeat at Peterborough.
There we go. Dave's
nodding his head. Now, and
I'd concur, I think.
Cool. Paul Westlake, red cards for Charlton, Port Vale and Barnsley today. I think obviously Barnsley's probably going to come too late for us near Nicky Cadden. 2 straight reds, small margins, but could that also play into hands? I think the Barnsley one in the fact that Cadden would be coming back into the game having missed the last 3, so might not be up to speed perhaps. But yeah, every little helps, to borrow a advertising slogan, doesn't it, guys?
Okay, marginal gains, if it makes if it can make a little
draw.
Yeah, why not?
Yeah.
James, does 94 points get us promoted? Yes or no? Yes or no? Anyone
this year you can't call it, can you? It's crazy. You might have a side missing out with 95 points or so. So crazy, in any normal year, I'd say yes, James, absolutely. But this year you just simply can't call it.
I couldn't call that. Nice golf swing though, James, on your profile. I saw nice finish. I can see that.
There it is.
Yeah,
lovely form. Lovely form.
Nice finish.
Tis the season for it. Yeah, we need to do a John Rahm, don't we? We need to surge to the finish line. That's what we want. There's some questions that are kind of tempting fate or asking for trouble, so I'm going to keep them in the chat. I see you. Thank you. I appreciate the input. I'm just one of those hosts that doesn't want to go there. So I appreciate you, but I'm going to move us on. P Girls reminding us, Lincoln are purely there to be League One giant killers. Their record of Ipswich, Sheffield Wednesday and Plymouth, 1-2, drawn 4, lost 0.
Incredible.
There you go. I thought Plymouth might have done a little bit better than that, but maybe not. But yeah, good old. Oh no, Lincoln. I was thinking about Cheltenham. Yeah, thank you, Pete. So there you go. Putting those results in context, guys, because we always get a little bit, it only happens to Ipswich, but Pete kind of approving, maybe not. Michael, it's all my fault. I looked at the tables. Don't, Michael.
Don't do it, man. Don't do it.
It's not going to change because you look at it. That's wrong, isn't it? I'll leave that on lingering out there. What else have we got? Gordian. Before today's results, we could have lost our game in hand on over Wednesday and still been ahead based on goal difference. But now we need to win. Statement of fact. I'm going to help me navigate that one.
Is that if we'd have lost our game in hand, we wouldn't have still been ahead of them, would we? We have to win the game in hand to go ahead. Oh, before today's. Oh, yeah, we dropped 2 points today. So
2.
Yes, we were 1 point. Yeah.
Let's move it on. I should have read that one.
We're goal.
I'm sure Gord's making a good point, but we're just. It's too late
we saw that. Yeah, he's gone back to Norwich, hasn't he, Mumba?
Yeah, Mumba rolled out for the season. So more margins to borrow Paul.
You have to say, if they do get top 2, having lost Cooper, Whittaker, Mumba, we will have to applaud them and say fair play.
And Azaz for a lot of the season as well.
We'll have to, sometimes you have to hold your hands up and say, absolutely fair play to you.
Yeah. CC drags. I can definitely see Plymouth losing to Exeter. Derby, they also kick off first as well. So I don't know if there's always a little bit of added pressure, I think, presumably on the TV. So maybe I can see the point on that one. Rob's asking us about how many points do you think? Points do you think we need to get the top? Yeah, I think we've covered that one. I think we talked about points plenty. Michael, do you think any of the top 4 teams are going to win all of their last games? Apart from Town, I think there's going to be points dropped, aren't there? All over the place.
Yeah, there will.
Yeah, there will be because pressure and natural nerves will kick in, and something unexpected will happen, and there'll be drop points by us as well. I think. I don't think we're going to win all ours. So
hopefully in the Devon Derby on Saturday.
Yeah, be nice.
Chris, we must win. Here's Chris making demands. We must win the 3 home games. Yeah, I think Seb's made that point already. I think all of us agree with that as well. We've got to win the home games anyway. And the Fleetwood one, that gives us 93. So I reckon we need a draw at either Peterborough or Barnsley at 94. There you go. And the goal difference as well, Chris.
Yeah, with a goal difference, you'd think that would be.
There you go. Chris is making it easy. Just do that. Just effing do it. Rob, Seb, birthday buddy. My birthday, 29th of April. So winning promotion at home to Exeter. You and Seb out in the Town Hall steps doing a Danny Sonneray. Moving on. Do you think Ipswich could slip up against Exeter? Oh, CC drags. I thought you were my mate. Now you're bringing that to the party.
He's gone out. He was up, then he's down.
Well, Exeter, I think, have taken a couple of beatings of late, haven't they? They lost today.
They got beat 3-1 by Peterborough today.
Yeah,
but nothing to play for, have they? They'll be on the beach, so hopefully we can take full advantage.
Yeah, Chris continuing, showing us the working. Great flair from Chris here. If 94 points is enough, and I think it will be, then we get there with 4. I think he's made something. Yeah, okay. I think we've just repeated the same point. Yeah. Thank you for that. Stephen questioning about Plymouth. Will they now fall away? I think Seb, you've answered that. If they don't, they'll have definitely deserved promotion. But it's definitely with Mumba out. That is a real problem, and Cooper as well.
Big. That Derby Saturday, massive
loss.
Game. Yeah.
And I think we'll end with one final question from Michael. And can I answer it? Do you think Clark will score before the end of the season? Yeah, it's going to be a Thunderbee, isn't it?
Fleetwood away, 91st minute.
I thought that was harness. We need to maybe get
I thought
2 goals in injury time.
I must admit, I thought at half time with that raging wind in our favour. Second half, I thought, this is tailor made for Clark to unleash one in the top bin, but he never quite got in that position, did he?
He did not, but Hurst today could have been Thunderbee territory, Dave.
I think so. Yeah,
you're the committee.
I think if he buried that one in the top corner, crikey, if he'd have buried that one in the top corner, what a collection of goals that would have been.
Wow. Yeah, great point.
But
nevertheless, we move on from there. Thank you, Chris. There you go, helping us out with the YouTube monetization there with spelling the word out. Yeah, thank you everyone for joining in. Appreciate the chat. Hopefully we've provided a little bit of rational, considered debate on what has been ultimately maybe a frustrating afternoon, albeit the chances were there to get the points, maybe a self-inflicted situation with a goal conceded, but the promotion dream is still very much alive. Mathematically, it's still there. Ups and downs inevitably to follow from all the teams hunting down those top 2 spots. Will it be record points tallies? Will it be goal difference? Stick with us here on Blue Monday to find out. Thank you everyone who's given us a question, joining the chat. Thank you for the love. James French over on Facebook, appreciate that. And the likes from Matt, Pete, Stephen, and Gary. Please do likewise if you're over on YouTube, and please do subscribe and leave us a podcast review if you're listening on the podcast as well. We appreciate everyone over there as well. Dave, I'll let you say goodbye. Any thoughts and reflections to share before the people go back to the rest of the week?
Not really. Let's just box this one away today. Just put that one away. Move on to Charlton, get the 3 points, and then concentrate on next. Oh no, then concentrate. It's going to be crazy. It's just going to be a crazy few weeks. So look, and I'm sure there's going to be so many twists and turns. There always is. Yeah, let's just enjoy it. Really, I think as much as we can.
Do you think, Seb, at this time of year, we haven't been in here for a while, but we are here. The scholar Ronan Keating, when he talks about life being a roller coaster, is that the kind of thought that comes to your mind?
Just gotta ride it.
If I'd had the button ready, do it again, and I'll press the button, and we can say goodbye to everyone. Thank you everyone for watching. Thank you for your support as always. We'll be back midweek and for pre-match show. But Seb's going to leave us with Ronan Keating. Everyone, here we go. Sing it.
Life is a roller coaster. Just gotta ride it.